Hey guys, I am back again today to do some more coloring. I have these crayons, these Crayola neon crayons that I'm gonna be trying. And yeah, and the colors are Atomic Tangerine. The colors are Atomic Tangerine, Carnation Pink. I don't know how that's neon though. Shamrock and Sky Blue, Shocking Pink, and Laser Lemon and Melon. And there's one other color in there, and this color is Outrageous Orange. So, and then I'm gonna be using these along with my color pencils. So here we go. Yeah, today I want to talk about circles, not shapes, but social circles, private circles, friend groups, stuff like that. It's so funny, I just realized that like I always kind of start off with blue for some reason. I actually just love the color, and this is a pretty blue. This is sky blue. Lately I've been learning that you are who you hang around, whether that is somebody super close to you or just an acquaintance. That bad company really does corrupt good morals. I've had many experiences with that. I've had many experiences where I will be so open and friendly with people and just invite everybody in, because I didn't necessarily understand boundaries. I didn't understand, that no means no. I wasn't accustomed to using the word no. And even today, it's still kind of foreign to me. So as a result of that, I ended up, being around the wrong crowd in various occasions. I ended up just in situations I really didn't want to be in. I ended up with certain mental states, mindsets, certain emotions and feelings, or whatever the case is, that I definitely did not want to be in. I did not want to have, whatever the case is. And then as I began to learn about, keeping good company, and how the company you keep affects how you think, affects your productivity, affects your work ethic, just affects everything about you, I started to realize that, okay, well, I don't want to hang around this person. I don't want to hang around that person. And slowly but surely, I definitely started to cut people off from my circle. One of the sad things about it is that, and this goes for anybody who finds themselves in a situation like that, some of the people you will have to cut off are some of the people who are the closest to you. It could even be your favorite cousin. It could even be your favorite aunt or uncle, or sometimes even your closest sibling. Sometimes even your parents. You might have to even cut off your parents for a while. And it's painful, but nothing good is really easy. In this world we live in, and in life, Everything comes with a price. Sometimes even your peace comes with a price. Sometimes even if you want peace in your life, you have to cut out people, things, vices, whatever the case is, that just do not bring peace to you. You have to cut those things out that just bring drama. You know, I'm pretty sure so many people have seen memes and these different posts where there will be like a bad apple or a bad orange, a rotten orange, in a basket full of perfectly good apples or oranges. And which would basically symbolize, hey, a bad person can be amongst good people, and that bad person can corrupt all of those good people. But it's not necessarily the other way around. You gotta get away from negative cycles. Another thing I've been learning too lately is toxic positivity is probably the worst, especially when you're coming from a toxic household, when you're coming from a toxic family, toxic environment, job place, relationship, whatever the case is. Toxic positivity is the worst. To me, toxic positivity is worse than manipulation. It's just worse than manipulation. It's worse than gaslighting. It's worse than just anything toxic, because it's a mask. It really is a mask. You know, toxic positivity is, you know, you're sleeping in a bed and the bed is giving you pains, back pains, neck pains, whatever the case is, and it's hurting you physically. It's affecting your health. It's affecting your posture. It's affecting everything that you need to be okay. And then you say, man, I want to change my bed. And then somebody comes through and they say, well, you better be happy that you even have a bed. Or instead of you complaining that your bed is, you know, affecting you physically, you better be grateful that you even have a bed, because other people don't have a bed. You know, like, toxic positivity is probably like the worst. And I realized that a lot of the time, especially in my experience, I've gotten so much of that. Well, at least you have a bed. Well, at least you were able to do this. At least you have a place to stay. You know, some people don't even have a place to stay. At least you have a roof over your head. At least you have clothes to wear. Gratitude is one thing. Toxic positivity is another thing. If you're living in a house and where you're living brings you no peace at all, and maybe God has been telling you to move for like a very long time or something like that, like, hey, it's time for you to go, it's time for you to move. And then the people you're in the house with are saying, well, you should be happy, that you should be grateful that you even that you have a roof over your head, because so many other people don't have a roof over their head. You know, when they say certain things like that, when they say you should be grateful you have clothes to wear, because there's so many people in this world who don't have clothes to wear. You know, like, it's very subtle, but it's very damaging. It's very hurtful, because you get to a point where, oh wow, this is a pretty green color. You kind of get to a point where it's like you feel an obligation to be grateful while you're in pain. You feel guilty for complaining about certain things that are actually hurting you physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally. You feel guilty. Like, it's kind of like you break your foot and you have the means of going to the hospital for them to put a cast on your foot, or to, you know, help you so that your foot can get better. And somebody says, And let's say you start complaining, oh my gosh, my foot hurts. And then somebody says, well, you better be grateful that you're even in a position where you can go and get your foot fixed, or you can go to the doctor. So many people can't afford to go to the doctor. Like, are you serious? Like, toxic positivity is the worst. It's just the worst, because if you continue to feed into the toxic positivity, maybe I have to turn this around, right? Yeah. Okay, great. If you continue to feed into the toxic positivity, it really will eat away at you in the long run. It will eat away at you in just like everything. Like, people around you who are negative, and sometimes even people who want to see you down. Sometimes it's people who want to see you living somewhere or in a mental state that, is just causing you a great deal of pain, frustration, unrest. They want to see you like that. So they'll use toxic positivity against you. Another form of toxic positivity is when you're a strong person and, you've had a history of just a lot of things going on in your life and you pulling through it. Some people around you, they may look at you and see that you've been through so many different things in life, and they'll see how strong you are and that you pulled through so many, different things or whatever the case is. And then they'll say, and then when you go through something, they'll say that their first reaction is, oh, you'll be fine. You're strong. You'll get over it. Like, what? Like, what? Before I'm strong, I'm a human being. Before I'm strong, I have emotions. I have feelings. And like I said, in the first place, I'm a human being. So I'm not perfect. I have flaws. I have weaknesses, just like every other human being does. And toxic positivity is somebody looking at you and just assuming that any situation that you go through, you'll be okay, because every situation they've seen you go through, you pulled through and you were strong and you made it through and you were okay. That's toxic positivity, because now it puts you under pressure to always be okay every time something happens to you. That is toxic positivity. Toxic positivity kills you slowly and in a very subtle manner. And that is definitely not good. Certain people use toxic positivity, like some of you guys who are even listening to this. Certain people in your circle, you may not know it or realize it, but certain people in your circle, they use toxic positivity on you all the time. You just are not familiar with the term, so you just let it slide. Toxic positivity is when you're that one friend in the friend group who works hard for her money or his money, and you always make sure you have, and then your friends, they're not really, they don't make as much money as you, or maybe they don't make as much money as you, or you're just in a better position financially. Maybe you've gotten an opportunity they weren't able to get, or you just manage your money better than they do, and they are careless with their money and they don't steward their money properly. And then they know that you steward your money properly and they don't. So when you guys go out to eat, they're not afraid if things go left, because they look at you like, oh, she's here, so we'll be good. As long as you're there, everybody's cool, because they know that they'll be good. As long as you're there, they can run up the tab because you're there, and you'll cover the rest or whatever the case is. And it's like toxic positivity is kind of like them, you guys going out to eat, they run up the tab because they just automatically assume, well, so-and-so is here, So we'll try to steward our money properly, but if we go overboard, she'll be able to pick up the slack. And then, when the bill comes and everybody's looking at the bill, like the bill is passed around to everybody at the table before it's passed around to you. And then you look at the bill and then everybody put in everything that they have, and then they leave the rest to you to pay off, because they automatically assume, oh, well, you got it. You always have it, it's the you got it, because you always have it. What's the, there's no problem with you picking up for, our slack, because you're always prepared to do so anyways. And then when you look at the bill and you're like, whoa, and they're like, what's the problem? You got the money. Toxic positivity. Toxic positivity right there, okay? That's toxic. Very toxic. And for a lot of people, hey, you might be dealing with that right now. You might have a friend like that, family member, whatever the case is. Or you might even have some friends that start to get mad at you when you start to go to them about your problems, because you never done that before. You never used to come to me about your problems. You never used to complain about certain things that happen in your life. I'm usually the one who comes to you about my problems. I'm usually the one who goes to you to get advice. And because I'm the one who usually goes to you to get advice, you should have all the advice in the world, because you're always giving me advice anyway. So when you have a problem, you have the capacity to give your own self advice. You have the capacity to figure out your own problems. You don't need any help from anybody. And then that puts you under pressure now, because you start feeling like, dang, when I'm going through something, I can't call anybody. I can't talk to anybody. I can't reach out to anybody. Or like that kind of puts you under pressure to be strong all the time, to figure it out on your own, to do things on your own all the time. People can put you under pressure to be great 24/7. And that's very toxic, because it may not be obvious, but in a very subtle way, it's eating away at you. The fact that you constantly have to hold things in, the fact that you constantly have to be strong, be the best, be the leader, be the lender, and not the borrower. That's eating away at you. So it's what they're saying is positive, but it's also very toxic. It's also very toxic. Positive but toxic, right? Very positive. Thanks for believing that I'm that strong, but that's not what I need right now. When you go through a breakup and you always bounce back, so now people look at you like, you go through another breakup and you go to one of your friends and you're like, oh my gosh, I just went through a breakup. And they're like, so what? You'll be fine. You always bounce back. You'll be okay. Like, no, I'm not okay. Positive, toxic positivity I almost forgot the word for a second, is very suffocating. People will suffocate you in toxic positivity. People will drown you in toxic positivity. Toxic positivity, I believe, is one of the reasons why, people go ahead and draw the line, if you know what I mean. Because when you keep going to somebody and saying, I'm not okay, but they keep looking at you like, well, you always bounce back, so what's the problem? Or you'll be fine, or you're strong, you got it. You'll start to feel suffocated because everybody's hearing you, but they're not hearing you. Everybody's hearing you, but they're not listening. You know? I've had a very fair share of toxic positivity coming from friends, family members. You go to family members about certain problems, especially the religious family members, like the super religious family members, or the family members that avoid family problems, and you go to them about certain issues. Hold on, let me. You go to them about certain issues, and then they're like, just pray about it. They'll quickly tell you to pray about something because the situation is so awkward for them, or they don't know how to handle certain situations. So they would much rather avoid something that they know for a fact is bothering you and hurting you than talk about it. So they'll use prayer as a scapegoat. Oh, just pray about it. Like, Auntie so-and-so, this happened to me in the family. You knew this person was like this. You knew this other person is like this. It's not a secret about what happened to me. As a matter of fact, every time you see me, I can tell that that's the first thing you think about. But when I bring it up, you tell me to pray about it. Toxic positivity. Oh, just pray about it. You'll be fine. Just pray about it. You'll get the strength to get through it. Like, no. No. Somebody say no toxic positivity for me. I'm good. I need some therapy. I need some help. I need a shoulder to lean on and to cry on. I need to be around people who understand where I'm coming from. And even if they don't understand where I'm coming from, they're willing to lend a listening ear. Those are the people who I need to be around. I don't need to be around people who just look at me and even wonder how I got through what I got through and just assume that I'm okay because I got through it. No. I don't need to be around those people. I'm good. Some of y'all need to move. I need to move, Some of y'all need to move. Some of y'all need to get out of those situations that is toxic. Some of you guys need to get away from those people who you constantly feel like you have to be there for 24/7 as if you're God. When you start to feel like God in somebody's life, that is a big red flag. When you start to feel like you have to be that person's savior, or you have to save this person from this and save this person from that, and constantly be there for them for every single thing, and just they come to you for everything, like even things that they can do on their own, they start coming to you for, that's a big red flag. I gotta get out of here. You start to realize, like, wait a minute, I'm putting this person before myself. And then you start to feel guilty for putting yourself before everybody else. You got to get out of there. You have got to get out of there. And if God is telling you to move, move. Move. Get on up out of there. That's a big lesson that I've learned in these past couple of weeks. If God is telling you to move, leave. He knows what he's talking about. He's telling you to move for a reason. Don't ask any questions. Don't ask why. Just ask where. And just trust that. Just use some radical faith and just get up and go. Seriously. That stress is going to kill you. When you find yourself, and now let's talk about codependency. When you find yourself living in an area or living with somebody and you start to feel codependent, oh, that is a red flag. When you start to feel as though you cannot make one decision without incorporating them, that is a problem. When you start to go like this, oh, I want to eat this today. Oh, but what? Oh, but if I eat this, how will this affect this person? When you're constantly worrying about every single decision you make affecting the next person, that is a sign of codependency, and you need to get up out of there. You gotta go. I had one of my friends come and visit me a couple of weeks ago. And she was the one who even told me about it. She was like, yeah, girl, what you're telling me right now, that's a problem. You got to get up out of here because what you're explaining to me now sounds like codependency. You got to get away for a little bit. And I'm like, oh, shoot. Maybe I do need to get away from it for a little bit. Maybe I do need to get away for a little bit. When you start to feel like the area that you're living in, and I'm not just talking about like a house or apartment or somebody you're living with. I'm talking about the area, the neighborhood you're living in, the state that you're living in. When you start to look at that place and be like, oh my gosh, I gotta, like, I'm done. I gotta get out of here. I low-key cannot even stand this place anymore. I cannot stand anything about it. I can't stand the stores, the roads, the people. I can't stand anything, like, at all. See, this is one thing about these crayons. I mean, these color pencils that I don't like. Okay, well, that's good enough. It's time for you to go. When everything starts to seem super dull where you're living and you're not peaceful there and you just start to get irritated just being there, it's time to go. When everybody around you is starting to irritate you for no apparent reason, like they could just say the simplest things and it would just irritate you. Oh, it's time to go. It's time to go. It is time to go. When the things that never used to bother you out of nowhere just start bothering the heck out of you, it's time to go. It's time to go. Okay? when you start to feel as though things are just not working for you where you're at right now, or you've been getting like these promptings to like move to maybe like a different state or a different country or whatever the case is, don't ignore it. Might be time to go. It really might be time to go. Because what will happen, that this is something that I've been learning lately, is that sometimes when you pray to God for certain things, oh God, give me a house, give me a car, you know, a new job, like maybe like a new opportunity or whatever the case is, you'll be praying to God for certain things and he'll answer your prayers. But sometimes he won't send your prayers to your current address. Sometimes you'll have to go somewhere completely different to be able to receive those blessings. You'll have to go somewhere completely different to receive those blessings sometimes. And then you'll find that as soon as you get there, boop, things just start falling in place. Things will just start falling in place. And I say this all the time about this, you know, channel that I have, is that one day I'll be able to travel to different places and sit with you guys and color in areas where there's nice scenery, beaches, palm trees, stuff like that, like, you know. And I'm going to continue to say it because it's going to happen. I could just set up my coloring pages and just color with you guys and talk to you guys in a nice scenery, like really nice scenery. But anyways, I'm about done for today. You know, my recording is about to be at 34 minutes. And when I get around 34 minutes, 36 minutes, it's way easier to edit, especially because I just have so limited space in my phone. As I'm able to have more space in my phone, more storage, I'll be able to make longer videos. This leaf looks bad. This leaf looks like a bad leaf. Bad leaf, bad leaf. Kind of look evil. Yeah. I hope you guys take away something from my little lecture, little talk today, because it's definitely something that I've been experiencing lately and I've been going through and I've been learning about. And I know that, you know, as I continue to learn about toxic positivity and learn about these different things, I'll be able to maneuver myself in situations and friendships and relationships better, so that I don't have to experience the pain and the unrest and the just, you know, everything that comes with toxic positivity. Like, no, 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 no. Yeah. And I'm almost done, guys. I'm about to start using my Yeti mic too, so you guys can get all the little crackles and all the little everything. Okay? Love you guys, and I will see you in the next video. Can't wait to talk to you guys again. And remember, toxic positivity. Look it up. Incorporate it into your life, how to avoid it, stuff like that. And yeah. Later, guys, I'll come back in the next video to finish this coloring page right here. Bye.